Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Friday, December 29th. I'm Michael Taylor and I hope you're going to have a happy new year. I want to get right to it. We're going to be talking to El Toro Water District's Catherine Freshley about water district and potable water and what they're doing here in Orange County and what they may be doing in the future, so we'll see about that. Then we have a Sports Corner year-end wrap-up and recap with Cole Young. We were going to do highlights of my interviews, year-end kind of thing, but they couldn't find any that they wanted to use, which I don't know, didn't bode well for me in 2024, but we'll see if I can improve. Speaking of not being able to find things, also on Monday, you won't be able to find me. Stay informed. You'll be looking at movies. We got a movie madness for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We got one of the great movies we're going to start with is going to be the Polar Express on January 1st morning. Also, that night, December 31st, don't skip the Pink Panther. That's going to be a great one to start off your evening with. You want to watch the Pink Panther on New Year's Eve. Then we go with Polar Express in the morning, and then after the wedding at 11 a.m., and then Age of Adeline at 8 p.m. That's going to be our New Year's Day and New Year's Eve schedule for movies on Village Television, so enjoy that. Let's take a look outside at the weather, and we've got a great day for us today. It's going to be mostly cloudy, but nice, and rain is coming for sure tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. So it's going to be rainy and mostly in the morning on Saturday. Should move out by about 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and then just kind of maybe some scattered showers. Then Sunday, just cloudy. There's a tiny chance of showers on Sunday, but really it'll be a little teeny, little drop, the scattered showers, nothing much. Then Monday, Tuesday, we clear out for a little bit. Get ready for the next storm system that's coming in midweek, Wednesday, Thursday. So 65s and 60s through all the week and nice temperatures, but we got some wet weather, but it's not going to hurt anything in terms of our New Year's Eve and New Year's Day plans. So count on that. You'll still be able to get out there and have some fun. Let's take a look at the sunrise and sunset while we're at it. That is Noodle. That is our cat, Daisy. We call her Noodle because she stretches out and looks like a noodle. And that's my daughter's cat, Samantha Taylor, photo right there. Under the tree, your cats, they love Christmas trees, right? Anybody with a cat knows they love to climb under the tree and get in there. That was a fun shot we took of her this year. Sunrise 6:54 and our sunset 4:51. If you have a fun cat photo to send us or any kind of pet you might have, sunrises, sunsets, places you go, send the pictures into us. Laguna Woods Village TV at gmail.com. Make sure you include your name and, of course, where you took the photo, and we will use it on our sunrise and sunset segment. Okay, we got no meetings to tell you about, so when we come back, we'll be talking about potable water with the El Toro Water District. Stay with us.
We all love our independence. Mobility City is your choice for all mobility equipment, repairs, service, rentals, and sales. We have rollators, wheelchairs, scooters, lift-out chairs, hospital beds, and more. We repair all mobility equipment in or out of warranty. Battery replacement too. And we'll come to you. Plus, we offer short and long-term rentals. Mobility City's personalized service is our specialty.
These guys are lifesavers.
So call or stop by our showroom today. Open Saturdays.
No one deserves to be ashamed of their smile. MacArthur Dental Arts is here to bring back your confidence. We specialize in at-home personalized smile restoration through the power of dental implants and perfect fit dentures. I'm here to answer all your questions with free in-office consults or using our Laguna Woods in-home service special. Don't wait to get the secure, worry-free smile you deserve. Visit MacArthurDentalArts.com or call the number on your screen to schedule your consultation today.
The Salvation Army Orange County is proud to be a leader in providing comprehensive care to families, men, women, young adults, seniors, and veterans in Orange County. Our shelters provide food, clothing, counseling, housing navigation, and job training. We also provide care through rent and utility assistance, food pantries, anti-trafficking services, adult rehabilitation, and youth programs. Donate today to help families in need and empower individuals towards self-sufficient life.
And welcome back. We're going to be talking about potable water and the decision that was made up in the state that might affect the El Toro Water District and what we have right down here, but not too quickly. No, we're not going to get there that fast. Director Kathleen Fresh is going to tell us all about that and what the decision means for local water and what we do here.
All right. Okay.
Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. It's haven't been here in a couple of years.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you. Well, I've been a long-time resident, so I'm pretty familiar with the community.
Yeah, right. And the thing is that you're also not only a resident, but you're also making sure our water quality is the best it can be.
Absolutely.
And the decision up in Sacramento to allow districts to start looking at the use of potable water doesn't mean we're going from, I know that's a terrible term, from toilet to tap tomorrow or anything like that, right? But explain to us a little bit about,
we don't use that term.
I know. I knew you would like that.
that gets people upset.
Right, and that's what I think. There's that concern of like we're using wastewater, we're using this kind of, and I don't want to be drinking that thing. So tell us a little bit about the basics of what is potable reuse? What is it all about?
Well, it really is taking our wastewater and processing it, and taking it and trying to close the cycle. Mm-hmm. Because what did we typically do for years? People used water, went down the sewer, and for many years went directly to the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, then the laws were changed, and we can't just put it in the ocean. We have to clean it up.
Treat it, and
so
then
we have
put it back.
waste treatment plants. Mm-hmm. So you're taking out all the solids. You're cleaning it chemically. So that by the time we still send about 1 million gallons a day to the ocean, okay, but it's clean. It's been cleaned to meet the standards for the ocean. It's not to the standards that we could drink.
Right.
Okay, and so what we're trying to do is basically is to close the whole cycle, human cycle. We have to ingest water. We're going to process it within the body, and we're going to eject it. And if we can take it and process it and reuse it, then we've closed the cycle and we reduce the amount of water we need to have.
You talked about that's 1 million gallons a day we're talking about, right?
Right now.
That's a lot of water that could be used, and we could.
Well,
have some
actually, most of our that's what's extra. Most of our wastewater is recycled back to the land. Mm-hmm. We, all of Third Mutual, nearly all of Third Mutual, except for Gate 11 and Gate 14, have recycled water.
Okay.
And parts of United do that are in Gate 5-6. Okay, but we're not able to carry further. Okay, it just wasn't economically sound at that point for us to carry any further and process that extra 1 million gallons.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the direct benefits of reuse of potable water.
Right. Well, the direct benefits is it makes it more drought-proof because we're not going to require as much fresh water.
Right.
If you stop and think about it.
Right.
I mean, that's logical, say.
Right.
Okay. We're reducing the ocean discharge, which we want to try to do by using it ourselves, cleaning it up, instead of dumping it to the ocean. It takes far less energy because, the alternative, everybody's talking about, well, we got the ocean sitting out there, let's desalinate the ocean.
Right, and that's a real, you talk about
that takes a lot of power to take the salt out of the water. It's much easier and takes less energy consumption to remove, once we've already cleaned it mostly, and for landscaping, to take it the next steps through, there's 2 more steps of osmosis, reverse osmosis, and in purifying with ultraviolet. That's much less costly, much less use of electricity. From a societal standpoint, it's more efficient for us.
Right, we're not putting that strain on the Colorado River and Northern California for our water supply, so it makes a lot of sense to explore this at least, right?
Well, and that's where we're moving, in that we'll have less demand. If people stopped and thought about it, the space station's been up there for years. Do you think that every time they run up there, they carry water to those people?
Right, they have a recycling system up there.
They have a full recycling up there.
Right.
And that has been there for years, and people are up there for a year at a time. So it isn't anything new.
Right.
It's just new. It's new for us, And actually, it's going to be new for California. In Texas, there's been a plant operating since 2015.
Well, and the Orange County Water District has a plant like this already operating here,
Absolutely.
right here.
Yeah.
Right.
The difference is that the standards for Orange County Water District was to put the water back into the aquifer.
Right. So they treat it with all the same systems, but then they just do an aquifer and even another level of treatment in the aquifer, right? It kind of mixes in.
Well, it's not another treatment. They don't treat it any differently. Mm-hmm. It's just the hesitation to put it back directly into the lines.
Okay.
The systems were not designed for that. And it's going to take us a while to get to where we could even do it. Mm-hmm. Because when you go for direct potable reuse, then you're going to need to make sure that as you're processing it, before you send it back to the line, you've got to be testing it on the go continuously.
Right. Now let's take a look at there's a timeline chart I want to take a look at in terms of the regulations. This has been going on for a while. This has been going on for many years in terms of the process of the decision. It wasn't just some sort of overnight thing that happened.
No,
right?
this is something they started. It was really started back in 2010 here in California. It's a process, nothing happens when you're really changing the fundamental technology on some stuff, and particularly when it comes to health, you move slowly.
Right.
Now,
so it's been going on for many, many years in terms of the stages that it's going, and it's not like it's going to happen overnight. Like we said, this doesn't mean that this happens tomorrow.
No. It will take us 5 to 10 years, even now because the law, all it's done is given us permission to go direct.
Okay.
It doesn't mean we're ordered to do it. It's up to each agency to determine, does it make sense for us to do it? Is it economically viable?
Right.
And before we even implement it, and I can assure you, if we decide to do it, that we will have a lot of outreach. Everybody will be involved.
Right,
the same type of thing we did when we put in the recycling for landscaping. Mm-hmm. We spent a lot of time meeting with people, talking about it. How's it going to be set up? How is it protected so that those recycled lines do not interfere with the potable water lines?
Right.
Making sure that there's no cross connections. Mm-hmm. Those are the issues that you have to deal with as an agency.
Sure, that makes sense. And you see the little signs, don't drink this water, recycled water in use here.
That's right.
There's warnings, people understand, and it's very clear, and those kinds of things.
And you see that along the freeway.
Now, there are regulations associated with all of this that's coming down, right? So what do the regulations mean for
all the regulations mean is that they give us permission to do it, that we can do it. Doesn't say we have to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the real process. It doesn't require any water agency to go to direct potable reuse.
Right.
It just says if you're going to do it, and if it makes economic sense for you, then these are the standards you have to meet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And which is a far better way of doing it in a democracy, or in our case, or in any agency, to let the agency then decide.
Yeah, you have the structure in place. Here's the regulations you have to follow if you're going to pursue this pathway.
Absolutely.
And public input's going to be a major part of that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's unfortunate because you started out with this toilet to tap term.
Yeah, I know. I knew.
and I understand, and I got so upset when was a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, on Fox, Jimmy Kimmel, or I think it is, made the joke. Well, now California is going to be allowing everybody to drink their toilet water,
right?
Which is not true.
There's a visceral response to the idea and the concept, I think, and so many people, you don't want to see the sausage being made, but you want the sausage, right? And that's the thing. I think that people get in their heads, I can't drink this water because of what has gone through, and I think there's just that not understanding of that there's a purification level that goes into this that just takes all of the dangers away.
Well, actually, the water is purer than what you get. I grew up in the Midwest, and when I was growing up, we got it out of our wells.
Right,
so we had to make sure the well was far enough from our sewer, from our septic tank and things like this. And this water is absolutely cleaner than what you're getting out of the ground in many areas.
So what's the El Toro Water District doing right now? Okay, the regulations have been passed by the state. Is there any action? Is there anything on the table at the El Toro Water District?
The only thing that we're doing at this point is we're seeking grant funding to kind of begin to study it and say, does it make sense? And if we got the grant funding, I'm not sure how much it was for, 50,000 or 100,000, and just to study the process. And this is where we are. Is it something that makes economic sense for us, or what would it take to even get there? And that we wouldn't have that decision for the next year or so.
Right.
Even. So nothing's changing at this point.
Nothing's changing. And I think that's the thing that people need to understand. It's not like we're just something the spigot's going to get turned on.
No, we don't operate that way. I mean, really, we have an opportunity, and particularly here with the village. It's about a third of our connected customers. We have the advantage of having village television, because at least we have a vehicle that we can communicate with the village customers. It's a lot harder for us to communicate to Mission Viejo, to Lake Forest, to Laguna Hills, because they don't have the same convenience that we have within this community.
Well, thank you for coming in and communicating to us today. Catherine Freshley from the El Toro Water District. We will have you back, I'm sure, to talk about this more in the future.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be here.
I appreciate it. Happy New Year. When we come back, Sports Corner with Cole Young.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and believe it or not, this is the final episode of 2023. It's been an insane year in the world of sports, with tons of highs and lows, twists and turns, and all kinds of new records set. For this final episode of the year, I thought I'd continue the annual tradition of recapping the year in sports. Ready? Here we go. In January, to start the year, the #1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs won their second straight national championship after routing the TCU Horned Frogs 65-7. This was the most lopsided bowl game in college football history. Georgia became the first team to repeat as college football playoff national champions. Sticking with football, the NFL playoffs took place throughout the month of January. These games were absolutely electric, including an unprecedented comeback in the wild card round. Up 27-0 late in the first half, the Chargers blew the largest lead in franchise history and fell short 31-30 to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who would eventually lose to the Chiefs in the following round. After defeating Jacksonville in their 5th straight AFC Championship appearance, the Chiefs got their revenge against the Bengals, sealing their seat in the Super Bowl. For the NFC, the Eagles coasted through the playoffs, dominating the Giants and the 49ers to punch their ticket in the Super Bowl. This led us to February with the Super Bowl stage set. The Eagles and Chiefs traveled to Glendale, Arizona for their shot at a Lombardi Trophy. Kansas City was able to hang on for a 38-35 win, marking their second Super Bowl win in just 4 years. Also in February, Tom Brady, the 7-time Super Bowl champion and 3-time NFL MVP, officially announced his retirement from the NFL. Technically, this was his second time announcing his retirement, but that's a longer story. 2 more of the greatest athletes of all time had major accomplishments in February. First, LeBron James broke the NBA scoring record when he scored his record-breaking 38,388 point, overtaking a milestone that stood for nearly 39 years and was held by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Then, Novak Djokovic collected his record-extending 10th Australian Open championship and record-tying 22nd Grand Slam title. He also set the record for consecutive matches won at the Australian Open with 28. Moving on to March, most of the storylines revolved around baseball and basketball. Before the MLB regular season officially began, we were treated to the World Baseball Classic. Team USA played well throughout the tournament, fighting their way to the final round to face off against Team Japan. In one of those movie script moments, with Team USA down 3-2, there were 2 outs, no one on base, game on the line, and Mike Trout currently at the plate, and his Angels teammate Shohei Ohtani on the mound for Japan. Shohei struck out Trout to secure the victory for Japan, and, in hindsight, this single moment had some major foreshadowing for the near future. Of course, I couldn't mention March without talking about March Madness. In the men's bracket, for the second time in just 5 years, a number 16 seed upset a number 1 seed in the first round as Fairleigh Dickinson University pulled off one of the greatest upsets in history over Purdue. Throughout the men's tournament, local San Diego State University fought and scrapped their way to a national championship appearance. Unfortunately, their Cinderella story run would come to an end in the title game as they fell just short to UConn in the national championship. In the women's bracket, the sports world watched in awe as the twists and turns and the emergence of dominant players like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark unfolded. Iowa and LSU would make their ways through the bracket and earn spots in the national title game, where the LSU Tigers women's basketball team won its first ever national championship. In April, we were yet again treated to one of the most iconic sporting events in history, the Masters. This year, Jon Rahm finally won his green jacket. This was Rahm's 7th time playing in the Masters and his first victory. The MLB kicked off its season, and the Tampa Bay Rays had an absolute historic start to the year. The Rays started the season with 13 consecutive wins, tying the modern era record and the most since the 1884 St. Louis Maroons. We also saw the NFL draft, where Bryce Young was taken first overall by the Panthers, and CJ Stroud was taken immediately after by the Texans. In hindsight, the Panthers might regret that decision, but time will tell. Sticking with the NFL quarterbacks, in April, Aaron Rodgers officially became a New York Jet. The 4-time NFL MVP and Super Bowl champion was traded from the Packers to the Jets, and more on that later. On to May. The NBA and NHL playoffs were must-watch TV throughout the month. Our local Lakers defied the odds and won their way through the playoffs, earning a spot in the Western Conference Finals. Unfortunately, they were swept 4-0 by the Denver Nuggets. In the Eastern Conference, the underdog of all underdogs, the 8-seed Miami Heat, upset the top 3 seeds in a row to punch their ticket in the NBA Finals. In the NHL, the Panthers would dominate the Eastern bracket, while the Golden Knights breezed through the West, with both teams earning their spots in the Stanley Cup Finals. In the world of racing, the F1 season went underway, but it was apparent very early that Team Red Bull would end the season as champions. At this point, Team Red Bull had won every single race. Speaking of racing, Mage, the 3-year-old chestnut colt, pulled off an impressive come-from-behind victory at the 149th Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. Later in the month, Manchester City was crowned Premier League champions for the 2022-2023 season, completing the three-peat and their 5th Premier League title in the last 6 seasons. On to June. Halfway there, stick with me. The NBA Finals between the Denver Nuggets and Miami Heat tipped off, and the Denver Nuggets won their first NBA title in team history. 2-time MVP Nikola Jokic secured the title of Finals MVP after one of the most dominant playoff performances in history by any player. Speaking of first-time winners, the Las Vegas Golden Knights won their first title in team history in 5 games over the Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals. The Knights have only been a franchise for 6 seasons, making that title even more impressive. I said it back in June, but June is the month full of different championships. In college sports, the baseball and softball World Series tournaments took place. On the women's side, the Oklahoma Sooners women's softball team clinched a 3rd consecutive national championship after winning 53 games in a row and finished up the past 3 seasons with a record of 176-8. For the men, LSU continued their year of victories. The Tigers baseball team pulled out an 18-4 victory over the Florida Gators in Game 3 of the College World Series, earning their first World Series title since 2009 and their 7th title overall. Through a hot July, the major events of the month were Wimbledon, the Open, and the Women's World Cup. On the tennis court, 20-year-old Carlos Alcaraz from El Palmar, Spain, shocked the world when he upset Novak Djokovic to earn his first Wimbledon title in one of the longest tennis matches in recorded history. For the women, Marketa Vondrousova won her first career Grand Slam and became the first unseeded woman to win Wimbledon in a stunning upset over Ons Jabeur. American Brian Harman pulled off an incredible upset and won his first major title at the Open Championship at Royal Liverpool later in the month. After a statement victory over Vietnam and a nail-biting draw with the Netherlands, the U.S. Women's World Cup team entered the tournament as a heavy favorite to win it all. Unfortunately, they would fall just short to Sweden in the round of 16, and Spain would go on to win and become the first European team to win the Women's World Cup since Germany in 2007. Fall finally approached, which meant football was just on the horizon. But first, in August, baseball was preparing for the postseason. The Angels announced they were not looking to trade Shohei Ohtani and were looking to make a deep playoff run instead. This would not work out in their favor. Sticking with baseball, though, the Little League World Series was played throughout the summer, and the championship game was set for August. California's El Segundo brought home the Little League World Series championship title after a 6-5 walk-off home run victory over the team from Curacao. September arrived and brought with it the start of the 2023 NFL season. Early on, the Chiefs and Dolphins looked like Super Bowl contenders, the Bengals got off to another slow start, the Broncos seemed to pick up where they left off, horribly, and the 49ers, Cowboys, Bills, and Lions looked like Super Bowl favorites as well. Remember I mentioned earlier in April that the Jets traded for MVP Aaron Rodgers? Well, in September, we finally got to see his debut in a Jets uniform. Sorta. 4 plays into the Jets season opener, Rodgers ruptured his Achilles tendon and it was announced he would miss the remainder of the season. In the college football realm, the University of Colorado football hype was at an all-time high as new head coach Deion Sanders looked to have completely revamped the program. At the US Open of tennis, Novak Djokovic earned his record 24th Grand Slam singles title. For the women, 19-year-old Coco Gauff from Atlanta, Georgia won her first Grand Slam title after taking the US Open women's singles title in 3 sets. Almost there. In October, the Denver Broncos ended the streak and finally defeated the Kansas City Chiefs for the first time since Week 2 of the 2015 season. This marked the start of their 5-game win streak and playoff push. As the NFL regular season continued on, the MLB season came to a close. All 4 of the first-round matchups ended in sweeps, and the number 1 overall team, our hometown Dodgers, were swept by the underdog Arizona Diamondbacks in the NLDS. The Texas Rangers upset the Houston Astros in the ALCS, earning their spot in the World Series, taking on the Diamondbacks. Arizona shocked the world more than once in the playoffs, knocking out the Brewers, Dodgers, and Phillies. Like I said before, LSU continued their historic year when Tigers quarterback Jaden Daniels was named the Heisman Trophy winner. That wraps up the year of 2023 in the sports world. I definitely missed some major events, but it's hard to keep track of all of it. This year in sports was my personal favorite in recent memory, so here's to hoping 2024 is full of more big games, stunning upsets, buzzer beaters, walk-offs, heartbreaking losses, triumphant wins, and much more. As always, thank you for joining me throughout the past year and all the time on Sports Corner. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. I'm Cole Young, thanks for tuning in, and see you all in 2024.
Welcome to OCI Care, Laguna Woods' premier laser and premium cataract surgery center with Dr. Vyas.
I just wanted my cataracts removed. It was pain-free. I was so impressed because I was so frightened to have it done. After surgery, I was able to use my eyes immediately. It was a miracle, really.
It's just been wonderful to be able to see everything and not having to wear glasses. It's even better, actually, than he said it was going to be because I saw instantly.
And welcome back. Let's check our movie for Friday before we head out. It's going to be The Shawshank Redemption with Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins. It's a terrific film based on a novel by Stephen King. It's not a horror film. It's a wonderful, wonderful film about friendship and redemption. It's going to be sponsored by Pacific Financial Planners. It's going to be on at 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope you make this day a great one.
Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks. Remember me? I'm the king of whoopee. And you're watching Village Television. But everybody does.